What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339 Dudley Road, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
What's on Your Mind? I am Carl. The program is produced by Breakthrough TV. So let me say how you doing. I want to say a big shout out to all you guys who tune into the program. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday. And can you believe it? It's another month. Wow. February is here. January has gone. I must tell you though, in January was my birthday. I had a few birthday wishes, but only from families. Because even though I was born in January, I don't tell everybody my birthday. Now some of you who knows me will, you know what I mean, will say yes. Actually, I should say this. Now I'm going to go public with this. I don't generally do this, but I actually have 2 birthdays. And some people said to me, how do you get that car? Well, the Queen of England had 2 birthdays, so. I know. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. As you know, this is a program we call What's on Your Mind. It's a live stream, so whatever you see is whatever is coming out now. You know what I mean? And it's actually coming out, you know. So let me say big shout out. Also want to say big shout out to all you guys who's been on our program in the last, you know what I mean, probably about the last coming up to, we're on week 90, week 92, yes? Week 91, week 91, yeah, so get it right. So you can see how long we've been actually doing. And let me say thank you for all you guys who actually keep supporting the program, you know, man. Big, massive respect to you. I want to say big shout out to you, Andrea, how you doing? Also, Donna, big shout out to you and your family. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. Colin, how you doing? Big shout out to you. Rose, Jade, Mission, Sean, Colin, Donna, big shout out to you. Philip, Angela, Lazara, big shout out to you. Guys in the United States, Gerline, big shout out to you. Mabel, big shout out to you. Pam, Dawn, the Williamson family, let me say a big shout out to you. We're actually on, I should say again, let me get it right. We're actually on week 92. Well, remember, as I said, this is a live stream, so I've only got one shot at this, you see. So if I make a mistake, I can always apologize. I can always go back. It's not the way they put you in a studio and then you go back and edit it and take out all the bad bits. You know what I mean? This is live, so that is what is coming to you live. Also want to say big shout out to my guest that I had on last week, Highly Bred. Big shout out to you. So let me say big shout out to you. And don't forget, you can go and check that program out with Highly Bred. You know what I mean, that we did. And we also did a recap of the Simmer Down 2021. Yes, that was in Hansrow Park. You know what I mean. So go and check that out as well. We talked to a lot of local artists from the West Midlands and a lot of different people we actually talked to. Some people from our community, and I say we talked to a lot of artists. You can go and check that out as well. That is up there. I want to say a big shout out to you, Jeanette Barrett. Let me say a big shout out to you, and thanks for your support to the program. And I must tell you, Jeanette, I am actually thinking of writing my book, my autobiography, and I know you're a ghostwriter, so I got a lot of things to say, and I got a lot of story to tell. Because over the years, even though I'm not that old, I have learned a lot. So I need to do my autobiography. I might as well, isn't it? I want to get this once to do this. Let me say a big shout out to you. Thank you. And all you guys who actually support the program, let me say a big, massive respect to you. And I say if it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing copyright, yeah? And hope all is well with you. The weather today in the UK is not too bad. You know what I mean? It is it's reasonable. You know what I mean? And I can't wait till we are sort of heading now. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say spring, but I'm not gonna call it too early. But we could be heading for spring very soon. Because what is happening in the UK now? Because sometimes when it's winter and about say December, late December, early December, it starts to dark about say 3:30 going up to 4 o'clock. And now, so lightning time gets shorter, but with the lightning time now, what we call light time, yes, is getting longer. So lighting time has actually gone up to about 5:30 now, you know what I mean? And before we know that, what I should really say, the sun will be setting, even though we don't see a lot of the sun this time of year, the sun will be actually setting about 7 o'clock, which is quite good. And then when it heads into the spring, it goes up more, you know what I mean? And then in the summer, what we call summer, June, July, August, it sets about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that is broad daylight, as we can say. Yeah. I'm also expecting to have a guest on the program a little bit later on. I don't know how our technical support's gonna handle that. You know what I mean? See how we'll see go. Sister Marcia Anderson, I am actually hoping to catch later on the program, all being well. Now, as you know, I always look at a few things that is happening across the world, and there's some crazy thing that's happening across the world, and The big one is, as I say, footage has actually surfaced of the murder of Tyree Nichols. Tyree Nichols from Memphis, 29-year-old, and he worked for FedEx, and he was actually kicked, beat, punched, drugged, you name it. It happens to him. And I said, this is, when you see this video, it is a disgusting footage, you know what I mean, of what is happening. And policemen are doing this, you know what I mean. And I got a lot to say about this later on in the program, but I'm going to hold it up. You know? But I said, police is actually doing this. And this is, I can't find words. It's no use me say it's disgusting, you know what I mean. And they say he's an African American. And I can't find words to actually say, to comprehend with this, you know what I mean. And a lot of people, as I say, can't find words to actually express this. Because this video is absolutely disgusting. And this was actually done by African American police. We see the George Floyd incident, and we thought police in the system would have learned by now, you know what I mean? And when you see African American, you can't even call them brothers, because they're not brother. They've got no humanity in them at all, you know what I mean? I don't know where they're coming from, but I'm not going to say too much about that, because that case has to go to court, you know what I mean? So I don't want to sort of say too much about it. But as I say, I can't believe they've actually done this to this young man. You know what I mean? And he was, when they was kicking him and knocking him and all the rest of it, he was asking for his mother to help, or he was crying for his mother. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't far from his mother's home. You know what I mean? And it was alleged this man didn't really do anything. And there's a lot of conspiracy theory behind this theory. But you know, I don't really go into conspiracy theory because I'm broadcasting live. Yeah, so it's one of those absolutely terrible and disgusting things. Leave a comment if you have anything to say about that. That I can't even call it a situation, but I'm going to call it a situation. If you have anything you want to say about that, you know what I mean, and if you leave your comment, and you know, on our comment box. They also, I must say, and today I've only surfaced again another situation in the United States with police as well. Now, Anthony Lowe Jr. is an African American. Before I get to that story, he's an African American. And what he actually happens to him, as I said, this is like late news. I've only picked up this just before I come on the air. And what he actually, he has his leg being amputated, right? An African American, he has his leg amputated. And he has a double amputee. And he was actually going around, and he was actually shot 8 times, killed 8 times by police officer. This happened in California. Yeah. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on when you see things like that happens? You know what I mean? And they say you can't comprehend it. You just can't comprehend it. What is going on with American police and African American? I must say though, it's not just African American this happens to, you know what I mean? But African Americans, police in America, if you look at the data, our police actually kills more Caucasian people in America than African American. However, African American got killed more often than Caucasian people, and that is what is actually coming from the database, you know what I mean, of the United States. So it's just one of them, not even going to say one of them ones, because you can't keep saying that all the time. It's just one of them ones, you know, because that is not the right way of expressing it. But I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say when you see something like that happens. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. And please put your name in the box. I'm hoping if we can get to pick up with Marcia. I don't know if Marcia is there or not. I don't think she's actually there as yet. But as soon as we can get Marcia on our screen, we'll actually try and pick up with her. Hope you're there, Marcia. Keep trying if you can get on, please. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I would have loved Marcia inputs on this situation with the African American police and what is actually going on. Yeah. Now, let me move on. Now, there has been some terrible things in the West Midlands since Saturday. Now, Bailey, the young man is called, his name is Bailey, a 20-year-old, Bailey Atkinson, and he was actually stabbed, he was actually murdered in Warsaw, Birmingham, and as I say, a gang set up on him, and they actually killed him. A lot of tribute actually gone out to his family and his friends, you know what I mean? And they say he was allegedly not doing anything, and he was actually, a gang just sat up on him and sat him in and stabbed him and killed him. And as I say, it's not a one. It's one of those crazy situations again. And also another man in Dudley. There's been a crazy week in the West Midlands. Another man in Dudley, still West Midlands. Another man in Dudley. He was actually chased and stabbed as well. You know what I mean? And as I say, it is a crazy, crazy situation. And people say, Carl, well, you always talk about these bad things, but you have to talk about the bad things as well as the good things, because what it does, it makes people aware of what's going on. And what I'm trying to do is, as well, is to highlight how life is important, because some of us don't just sit and go on, oh, they're not noticing life not important. Life don't matter. You understand? And see, I'm very emotional when I talk about this. Life don't matter. So when you see things like this, you can't say, you know what I mean? Life matters. So we can't take life like a piece of, you know what I mean, like a piece of nothing. And that's what we seem to be doing all the time, you know what I mean? So when you see me talk about things like that, don't say, oh, you talk about this and you talk about it. Life don't matter. You know what I mean? Everybody lives matter, know who they are. And I say, it's one of those things. A member have also said, a council for Walsall has also said Walsall seems to be a bit of a no-go area in the night. You know what I mean? After that, Walsall, you can't sort of go into Walsall at night. This is not coming from me. This is what is coming from a Walsall council. And it says you can't seem to go anywhere after dark or whatever is happening in Walsall. You know what I mean? So we hope things can get sorted out easy. I don't know how easy it's going to get sorted out, because things seems to be so, and I don't want to play a bad picture, but it's the reality of life. You know what I mean? And when you see things like that happen, you just don't know what to say. And you know, and the other thing I want to say, like, big condolence to that man's family. You know what I mean, and all his friends. And I hope whoever does this, you know what I mean, justice will be served, whoever they are. Yeah. As I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Hope all is well with you. Big shout out to you, Glenna. How you doing? Hope all is well with you. Helen, big shout out to you. Hope all is well with you. All you guys down here in Jamaica. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, let me move on. Pakistan. Now, in Pakistan, a suicide bomber has killed 100 people, and at least 225 got injured in Pakistan. Yeah. And this happened at a mosque, you know what I mean? And it happened on Friday. And some people was actually praying. They was actually praying and trying to do like they're doing worship. And as I say, there was this suicide bomber, and it blows a lot of people up. Now, a lot of people are saying because it was so close to the police station, the target might have been the police. You know what I mean? So we don't know if it was the police or whatever, but that is actually what is coming out. And we say, no matter where you are in the world, when you see those stories, you have to say big condolence, you know what I mean? And respect to those people who actually got blown up in a mosque, you know what I mean? And they say, we see these suicide bombers all over the world, all over the place. And it's such heart-rending when you see it as well. And again, back to my statement, back. It's people's life again, you know what I mean? And as I say, what they said, the mosque was so close to like the police station, you know what I mean? So as I say, the police could have been the target, you know what I mean? And that is what actually is coming from the information that we actually got, you know what I mean? And so it's wow, I know. I got some good news coming up as well. Don't worry about that. Now let me go to Jamaica. Jamaica. My little Jamaica. Jamaica, what God? You know me not left you out no matter what's going on. We can't do that. You can't left out where you come from. You hear me, Patwa, now? You can't left out where you come from. Some people say, you know, oh, where does he come from? He doesn't sound like a Jamaican. What does a Jamaican sound like? You see what I'm saying? What does a Jamaican sound like? You know? But he don't talk like a Jamaican. But what does a Jamaican sound like? I always say, on the other one I get up many, many times, him don't look like a Jamaican. Can I say crazy? What does a Jamaican look like? You know what I mean? So there you have it. I was born on that small island. I was born on that small island many, many moons ago. I immigrated to the UK, you know what I mean? So, well, that's how you do, yeah? That's how it works, you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, I want to talk about Jamaica. Let me come back to Jamaica now. Jamaican police have actually arrested a man, and they arrested this man in Manchester. And Lemon Brown from Manchester actually killed his brother. His brother Michael actually went to Jamaica to bury their mother, and they was, they was doing what they're doing, and he ended up Michael Brown actually gets killed, murdered in Jamaica, allegedly. And allegedly, the two brothers has been actually having some fuss. Police has said, the Jamaican police have said, these two brothers was actually having some fuss for quite some time. And, they fall out. And as I say, Michael was actually finishing his house that he actually built out there. And they said they fall out, and then I think he was actually at his house. And they went in, and there was they shoot him up. Now, he comes from Hertfordshire in the UK. And as I say, he's dead. But allegedly, the police has also said it's the same old story. There was a dispute over, have a guess, land. Yes, there was a dispute over land. Now, let me tell you something. The land will always be there. No matter who no fight over it and fight over it, you can't take it with you. So if you don't have to fight over the land, you must come to a settlement. Because I've seen generation and generation and generation, and I've read about generation and generation who actually fought over land. And it don't get them nowhere. Because the land can't move from where it's there. You can sell it, but it cannot move from where it's there. So all who do a fight over land, on the wasting of the time. Because the land cannot move. And I say, he's not the first person has been killed over land, and he won't be the last person that has been killed over land. And we say big condolence to Michael and his family, you know what I mean? But you must come to a truce when things like that happens, you know what I mean? Don't go fight over land. So you lost your life now, and the other man now, he might fight over land now. So this man has lost his life. Now the other man who actually killed him, he's going to end up in a prison. So what happened to the land? Okay, he may give it to his family, or whoever got the inheritance of the land, get it to his family. But him still dead. Let me move on. Still talking Jamaica. Now, also in Jamaica, there has been like, in West Kingston, there has been like, the police have actually found 2 guns. And actually, 46 rounds of ammunition. And this happened in West Kingston. And this was like a joint operation between the police and the military. And this actually comes from Lincoln Crescent in West Kingston. And they say they mounted a raid, and they said they find all this amount of ammunition and guns, you know what I mean? So we see this, and it's good when the guns come off the streets, you know what I mean? Because you don't want the guns on the street, you know what I mean? So I don't know what is going on with guns. We see America with guns. We see America with so many guns and so many massacre. And we see, yes, need I say it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Big shout out to you, Chelsea. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. And don't forget to leave your comment on the screen. Now, this is sort of, let me get your head around this one. Now, the UN body of experts has written to the UK government to express its very extreme concern about its failure to address structural racism with African people of descendants. And they also, the group has also called for an immediate and unconditional stop on the use of joint exercise, use of joint express and exercise, warning it will lead to disproportionate imprisonment of British, African, Caribbean people. Now, the UK government has actually denied this. And we, as I say, we get this, as I say, but when you deny something, you see, that means they're not going to take any notice of the report. And this is not the first report. We have report after report after report after report. We have report from planet Earth to Mars. Yeah. Nobody's going to Mars, have they? But we have report and report from wherever. We see this is another report. And this is another report of saying how badly we have been treated. You know what I mean? But nothing ever seems to happen. You know what I mean? On that basis. Nothing ever sort of seems to happen when these report comes together, we see another report that the Home Secretary is actually trying to scrap, you know what I mean, which is another report about, you know what I mean, the Windrush generation and all sort of things. We see that report has been trying to scrap as well. As I said, the Home Office, the Home Secretary is actually trying to scrap. After report, we never seems to get any constructive results out of these reports. Yeah. And as I say, it's another one to say how badly we are actually doing. We're sort of helping people of color, our British, African, Caribbean people, you know what I mean, to stop all this racism and this segregation of what they do to people who go to prison. And yet, it isn't happening. As I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Good afternoon. Hope all is well with you. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. And don't forget to say you can leave a message in the box. We're here. The more of you put message in the box, the better. You know what I mean? I know a lot of you message me on Facebook, and a lot of you message me on Instagram. Yeah. But message me on the program, you know what I mean? And we can discuss a lot of issues, you know what I mean, that is actually going on. Don't forget, we got quite a few guests coming up. We got a guest coming up next week, Andrea. He'll be here next week, you know, wonderful brother. And he'll be here next week with us. So, you know what I mean? So, we got quite a few different guests. Got quite a few guests coming up in the month as well. It's all what we call nice, you know what I mean? It's all what we call going nice and happily. And we do what I do, you know what I mean, just to sort of get information out and show you a different prospect from a different sort of situation instead of the normal run of the mill thing, you know what I mean? And I'm different from them guys who jump up and do all this with the girls and this girl and that girl and all that kind of girl, you know, them shouting all the rest of it, you know what I mean? So this is a little bit, we could do that, but we don't choose to do that. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Moving on. Now, my next story is a much-loved nurse from Sutton Coldfield.
Shannon, what's going on?
She has died. Paulette Bolton came to the UK when she was 15 years old, and she actually teaches herself how to read and how to write, just going through the dictionary, you know what I mean, which is absolutely marvelous. And they say she has died after a short illness, and we say big condolence to her and her family. And this lady she worked in London, she worked in Ladywood, she worked in Lozells, you know what I mean, she works a lot of places all over the community, and thousands of people actually pay their respects to her, this wonderful lady. And she was committed to her patient and her patient care. And we say big condolence to her family. And I got to say, I must have come across that lady face somewhere over the years, you know what I mean? Because when I see the photograph of her, I think I've actually come across her face over the years, you know what I mean? And I say it's a wonderful sister that we've actually lost. And I want to say big shout out to her daughter, which is Tanya Bolton, you know what I mean? We say big shout out to you, Tanya, and thank you for giving me the opportunity and the go ahead to actually mention your wonderful mother, also your brother, because we don't do this unless we check with the family, you know what I mean? So we work like that. So I want to say thank you for sort of allowing us to sort of go with this. Marcia, how you doing?
I'm good.
Talk to me.
Good. I'm glad we're here.
Glad to pick you up. So what's going on?
Oh, everything's good, you know. It's just been a mad week in the news, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, slightly. I need you to be a bit louder. Slightly. That's
all right. So I'm speaking in my phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
All right. I'll keep my phone. Yeah. Yes, I've been listening to the news, watching things unfold, and it's been a very distressing week, hasn't it?
It has been a very distressing week. So how you doing?
It has.
Let me ask you, how's the let me quickly, as I said, the guy, this is Marcia Anderson. Let me introduce you. Yeah. Children of the Sun, because I've reached so far in the program. I didn't get a chance to do that because of this, So you work with Children of the Sun, You're from Birmingham, and you do wonderful work with the children.
I do.
Yeah. And you
That's
you've
right.
been on
Children of the Sun Saturday School,
yes.
based at Broadway in Birmingham,
Yes.
Bar.
Yeah.
And we work with children. We've been there for almost 8 years, doing lots of work with the community.
Yes.
And great people like yourself and others showing us lots of love and support.
Thank you.
And making it all happen.
Yeah. And I'm glad you've returned to the program, because you've been on this program before, haven't you?
Yeah, it's lovely to be back.
And
absolutely lovely to be back.
And how's the new year going?
Good, it's been a positive start. Personally and professionally, it's been a wonderful start.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Great. I'm going to carry on a little bit, because How
about you, Carl, by the way?
All about me?
Yes,
Sorry?
yes. Let me break some interview rules. How about you?
I'm fine. I'm always fine.
Good. Good.
You see this? It's not false. It's what you get. It's real. Because I don't do the false thing. So what you see, this happy smile you see here, that's reality. But then again, I was born that way.
That's your secret. What's your secret? What keeps you happy on the inside when there's all this chaos going around?
I think I inherit that. And I've always been like that. And I've had a couple of different things that happens to me over the years. I'm a big music fan, as well as a DJ. So music have always been a special part of my life from I was very, very young. You know what I mean? And over the years, I do a lot of things. I do exercise, I do regular exercise, I jog, I swim, and I do different things. You know what I mean? The other thing is, I stay away from people.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I don't get too. You know what I mean? I do go places. You know what I mean? But I don't get too entwined. You know what I mean? Because as well as that, you see me here, and you see this. Once I step out of this, I'm a very private person. And sometimes I could say,
you have to be selective.
I keep myself.
Who you spend your time with.
I keep myself to myself. Yes.
Wise
and it keeps me happy.
Wise
you know what
words. Yeah. We learn as we get older. Less is more. Sometimes we like to have lots of people around us and in our lives. As we get older, we realise, no, less is more.
Yeah.
Less noise, less hassle.
Don't forget, I've always had fun. You know what I mean? I'm not something there. I mean, I've been in groups. I played across all over the place in my early days. So it's not like I'm like one of those miserable people. You know what I mean? Even when you hear me on the radio, I'm a totally different person, happy all the time. You know? And I like it that way. And it keeps me that way. And it keeps my blood pressure down. And it keeps me healthy. And it keeps me good.
That's important. That's important.
Thank you.
I'll take away some lessons from that.
Don't forget. Don't say we don't have a laugh. See how this is? And I always say, if I can make you laugh, I've done my job. Yeah?
That's key. Laughter in the face of it all. Got to be able to find something.
That's right.
Find the joys in life. I was saying that
some other people do
to somebody actually. It's very easy to lose track of all the joy.
Yeah, some other people.
We're so focused.
Some other people do different things. Some other people take drugs, they drink, they do all kind of negative things, as well as doing some good things.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones.
Don't do the drugs and the drink. Make music. And
exactly.
And exercise and fresh air and nature.
Yeah, that's right. And I love the fresh
addiction.
air. I love the fresh air. I've always been in the fresh air. You know what I mean? I like sometimes I will go running. It's really, really cold. And my friends always say to me, how can you go like that? I says, well, as long as I've got the right gears on, and the right clothes.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's done. Because when you're running and when you're jogging, when you're running and jogging, you know what I mean, your body just get up to temperature anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to be out in the cold. And I don't drive. So sometimes when it's pouring down with rain, and like we've got a storm, I literally put my coat on, get my umbrella and my boots, and deliberately go out into that storm. I love it.
No, I mean,
as long as there's no lightning.
No, I'm not doing
Oh,
that.
I do.
I don't want to get soaked.
I love
If I get
that.
soaked, I'll catch a cold.
I love it. I love it. I'm like a
If
big
I-
kid,
if
and
I
you
get-
might find me splashing in puddles. I'm not joking. My children think I've lost the plot.
if I get cold, I catch a chill. That's why I stick to my ginger and my lime.
Yeah. That's why you hear me coughing so much.
Get some ginger,
My
get some ginger and
practice.
some lime. I'll tell you what I do is
I'll do
quickly.
that.
Tell you what I do sometimes. What I actually do, like I will get a whole lot of vegetable. Whether it be lettuce, whether it be cucumber, the lots. And what I do, I'll put them in a blender and I'll blend all of them.
Yeah,
And
man.
I turn them into
Yeah, man.
juice and I drink it.
Oh.
Now, no.
You have to.
Now listen to this. The problem is I'm not worried about the taste. Some people say, oh, it tastes horrible. I don't give a about the taste.
Vegetables don't taste horrible.
What I like is what it's actually doing for my body. You see what I'm saying? Some people say, how can you drink that? It's not sweet. I don't like sweet things. I never did like sweet things. Even as a kid, I never liked
That's
sweets.
the secret.
So it got nothing to do with the taste. As long as I know what it's doing to my body and I research what this is doing to my body. Quickly, Marcia, I can
That's
see
key.
something. Let's go back to the police in America. 'Cause we had to move on, so I couldn't talk about it. Police in America.
Okay.
With the Ty Nichols. What they did to Ty
Yeah,
Nichols.
so
You there?
I am. It's just, I'm just speechless. I did see the video.
Mm.
I don't know why I took it upon myself to watch the video, but there you go. So many of us have taken it upon ourselves to see what took place.
Yeah.
Once you see these things, you can't unsee it.
Mhm.
And it's very traumatizing. And my heart goes out to the community, the families. It's horrific,
Yeah.
and to see black men, treat a young black man in this way as well. Yes, they're police officers, but for me, you should be black first. Whatever uniform you're wearing, you have a duty to protect your own. But obviously, sorry, I'm getting feedback here. Once you put that uniform on, you then become whatever they want you to become. So
Yeah.
you're a black man, but you're now acting on behalf of the system. You're going to view other black men. I'm not saying this of all police, but you've got your corrupt criminals. And they take on the role of the overseer. I suppose during slavery, these would have been the overseers. These would have been the ones going out
Okay.
and brutalising others.
I see what you're saying. It does one of those. I'm gonna have a rant about that because my rant is a little bit about that. You know what I mean? Because I wanna comprehend. Try to comprehend. I'm not gonna be able to comprehend this. If these people are really humans. Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So let me move on. Now, Usain Bolt, the champion, he has finally speak about the fraud situation that is going on with them stealing his money. And what he actually says, he says it's a tough situation. And he's disappointed, yes. But no matter what happened, or no matter what is going on, Jamaica is my home. That will never change. I love my country. As you know, there's a big fraud situation with Usain Bolt's investment, with the company, and as I say, is millions of pounds actually disappear from his account. You know what I mean? So it's not a very nice thing. So as I say, and I guess he'd be very, very very, very disappointed of what is actually happening. You know what I mean? So it's just terrible to see. But as I say, he says Jamaica is still his home, and he still loves Jamaica. So we'll watch the space in the future. Yeah, as I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, let me move on to entertainment. Now, the Jamaican PMP party leader, president of the People's National Party, Mark Golding. Now, Mark Golding, you don't generally come across politicians who actually agree with each other. But Mark Golding has actually said he's apologized. What am I talking about? Apologize. I tell you, this was a live stream. He agrees with the Prime Minister Andrew Holness of Jamaica, and they're actually talking about dancehall music. Now, what he actually said, he says, artists need to pull them socks up. Pull your socks up where lyrical contents are concerned. Because some of this lyrical content is notorious. You know what I mean? Notorious. And as I say, I think Andrew Holness was also say that, you know what I mean? And he says about Afrobeat. He said, look, Afrobeat is taking over everywhere since about the last 3-4 years. And I don't think he's knocking Afrobeat, but he says Afrobeat is taking over the world. I think a lot of people will also say Afrobeat has occupied the space. I know Afrobeat is, has always been there, and we even go back. But what they say, Afrobeat has actually occupied the space where dancehall music used to occupy. You see me? I'm getting a lot of fans. Afrobeat is getting a lot of fans from where dancehall music used to be. So he says a lot of you artists need to fix up. And as I say, he says that Afrobeat artist is literally eating our food. Yes. I must tell you, we actually met Mark Golding at the Legacy Center of Excellence sometime last year. He was here, right here in Birmingham, and he was actually meeting people from the diaspora, as I say, at the Legacy Center of Excellence. And you can actually go and see we got a program out there, so you can, if you search, you can actually see the program with Mark Golding at the Legacy Center of Excellence right here in Birmingham. So you can actually go and check that program out. Okay. As I said, and it was in conjunction with New Star Radio. So New Star, in fact, you'll find it on New Star Radio Live. Go and check that out, yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So what you go to do, if you go New Star Radio YouTube channel and New Star Radio Live YouTube channel, and you go and check that out, yeah. So more information there for you. Right. Now, did I talk about dancehall? Now, dancehall. They call him the unruly boss. No, the unruly boss. I just love some of these names, That's what they call him. I don't know who call him that or if he calling himself that, but I'm not having a go. I'm just have said it as it is. Now, Popcorn. Now, Popcorn has come out on Twitter, and he says he's been trying to get a visa to get into America, but him can't get it. So, I don't know why him can't get it, but him can't get it. Now, he says, I've been everywhere. He said, I've been here, I've been there, I've been everywhere, but I still cannot get a visa to go to the United States. And I don't know how long it's going to take him to get a visa to go to the United States. But at the moment, them don't want to give him a visa. So he's actually having a campaign to get into the United States. Maybe some of you, maybe some of his fans or his supporters, maybe to help him, be able to help him with that campaign, yeah? Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And leave a comment in the box, yeah? And don't forget to share the program as well, yeah? Now, the dog father, moving on, the dog father. Why you call somebody the dog father? Now the dog father. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg comes to the UK in 2023, March. And he's celebrating his 25 years of doing what he does, you know what I mean? And Snoop, Snoop has sold over 35 million albums worldwide. In just America alone, he's actually sold 23 million. Yeah, so he's very, very big in America. The other thing as well, artists will actually, on that bill, will actually, Warren G, I like Warren G, regulates. I do like Warren G. Also, Obi Trice will be there as well. Exhibit will also be there. And D12 will also be there. What we call in the business, West Coast rappers. Yeah, so that should be very, very interesting. Yeah, as I say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Big shout out to you, Hector. Hope all is well with you, sir. Hope you're having a good day. Also, your family up there in the United States. Let me say a big shout out to you. Also, I want to say big shout out to you, Jennifer S. Wallace. Now, a lot of people are talking about, as you know, it's Black History Month. You know what I mean? I should really say Afro history, really. You know what I mean? But I know I'm gonna have an issue with people if I say that. But I should really say Afro history in the United States. Now, I gotta tell you, there's a book. If you want to check out Afro history, there's a book which Jennifer S. Wallace has wrote. The book is actually called Miss G and Me. You can actually check that book out. And it traces a young Jamaican lady leave Jamaica from she was actually 17. And she comes to the UK as a nurse, you know what I mean? And it goes through a lot of things, a lot of journey, and then she still goes back and live in Canada, which is actually marvelous, you know what I mean? So you can check that book out. And it's a very, very good history about Jamaica and how you carry on. And it's a very, very good history for her on the book about people come here in the 60s within the Windrush generation period, you know what I mean? And then you go to Canada. So what we say, as I say, if you're looking for talking about Black history, and as I say, some very, very good things in Jamaica about this. And one of the things I actually found what was actually fascinating is when Miss G, she actually talked about Miss G. Miss G is actually her mother. And when she actually talked about Miss G, when Miss G comes to the UK to train as a nurse, her father was already here. And Mas George, Brother George, we call him Brother George. Mas George was already here. And what she actually talks about when her mother, which is Jennifer's writing the book about her mother, and when Miss G talks about a passage about Miss G and when she met her father, like not for the first time, but when she met her father in the UK, and she didn't stay very long with her father because she has to travel, and they just sort of say goodbye. She has to travel to Northampton, where she was actually training to be a nurse. I mean, and it's so some of those stories are just so I can't say nothing else. Big shout out to you, Jennifer. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Marcia, how you doing? Are you there? Hello? Yes.
I'm still here.
You're still here.
Yes. Oh, very, very interesting.
How's your call going?
And oh, my cold. You did warn me going out into the cold. Next time I'll wrap up because I'm not as tough as I.
It's winter, you know, Marcia.
So,
it's winter.
Yes, sniffling and sneezing. Forgive me. All right.
Okay.
And I'll learn better next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were going to discuss before the end of the program.
Yeah.
What I've become aware of, and a lot of parents are complaining about, and some have just boarded the subject now, but it is about children's screen time.
Yeah.
And the harm their overuse of their mobile phones is causing. A lot of parents across the board are finding it difficult to manage the children.
Yeah.
And I've had some conversations with children just to find out what's going on. They actually checked their phone because you can actually check to see how much time you're spending on your phone. They realise they're spending upwards from 7 hours. And this is on a school night. So many children are coming in, on average 4 o'clock, and they were on their phone for the whole time. Right through until 11 o'clock. And these are children from the age of 9 upwards.
Yeah.
And many of the parents concerned aren't even aware of how much time children are spending on their phone. They think children are reading or doing homework or doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Children are on their phones at school as well. And a lot of the parents aren't aware that when they're in class, some of them have got their phones under the desk and the teachers aren't even aware. So it's a serious problem because there's been a report out recently, and there's a higher proportion of children having access to violent imagery and even more disturbing pornography. They're having a lot of easy access to pornography. And what a lot of people working with children are noticing is the over-sexualization of their behaviour, the language, the way they're relating to each other.
Yeah.
and so on. So I've come across this app called Family Link.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can download from Play or from the App Store.
Yeah.
And what you can do, you can monitor your children, you can block certain apps, you can control the amount of screen time they have. Yeah. It's all free. You can work with them to help them manage their screen time, the things they see, and you just use the phones more productively rather than using it in a way that's detrimental to them. Yeah. So it's very hard for me to talk because I'm getting all this feedback being on my phone at the same time.
I can hear you. It's all right.
You can hear me.
I can hear the feedback.
So my concern is, why are children spending so much time alone in their rooms, unsupervised, watching whatever they want to watch?
I know not a lot of people gonna.
And there are no adults around.
Is it
sometimes they're coming home, eating their food with their phone. Well, you know what? We're always reluctant to blame parents or point the finger, but it's a ticking time bomb, and I can't be quiet. I work directly with children, and I'm seeing the changes. Yeah. I've been working with children for over 30 years. And I'm seeing a lot of our children are like zombies at the moment because, for a start, they're not getting enough sleep. Sometimes when parents think their children are asleep, they're getting up and they're on their phones again because parents aren't taking the phones away from them and their laptops and so on. They have them in their bedrooms. So sometimes children on their phone till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Very, very young children, very vulnerable children. Children who are being exposed to not only adult content, but adults getting into their communications, their contacts, and contacting them directly, posing as children. These things aren't just things happening out there in our imagination. These are happening to children in our community. Yeah. And it's very damaging. So I would just like to advise parents, take your children's phones away from them.
That's not gonna go very well.
Take more of an interest.
That's not gonna. Marcia, I totally agree with you.
So say after 8 o'clock.
I totally agree with you.
No phone.
I totally agree with you.
And also, parents have the right to have access to their children's phones. Every now and again, check your phone with your child. Get your child's password with their permission. Go through the phone together and have a discussion about what's appropriate, what's inappropriate in their phone. Do some research with them and look up the damage that your phones, these appliances can do to you neurologically over time. Look at the addictions. A lot of children, we had a little activity, and some of the children realised they were actually addicted to their phone. They described how they felt when their phones were taken off them, and their behaviour and their feelings were extreme.
Let me ask you something then. Not cutting you. Let me ask you something. This is important.
Yeah.
But don't you feel once a child or children has gotten to that age where they're already doing that, there's no way back. So therefore, you've got to start them off very, very early.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of children, and it really hurts me to see this, but I can't make excuses for parents. I hate seeing this. There are children as young as 2 in their little buggies and they're playing games on the phones.
No.
Mum and Dad tries to take the phone and the child's screaming their head off.
That shouldn't
so
be
they get the phone handed back.
Them shouldn't have them to
and
know them phone.
Over time, parents begin to find this very convenient. I'm not making any excuses for parents. These devices are becoming babysitters, but they're very dangerous babysitters. and we're creating a ticking time bomb. That's all I'm saying. So check your children's phones. Yes, they'll scream and yell and stamp and tell you you've got no rights, but get hold of the apps that you can have, that you can put onto your children's phone to control the amount of screen time and what they have access to. Do the research yourselves. Look into the algorithms. Look into the clickbait. Sometimes children are being fed things that are detrimental to them constantly, and it starts to affect their mental health. And there's no way out. Children are self-harming. They didn't know what self-harming was until they discovered something on their social media, on their Instagram, their TikTok. It's a shame.
But do you
because it's a double-edged sword.
My time is running, but you still got a bit of time. Do you feel the parents, because I'm going to go parents, do you feel the parents sort of neglect their children? Oh, I'm watching this, I'm watching that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm watching Love Island, I'm watching this thing going on the television, and all that sort of stuff. So they haven't got that. Once Love Island come on, what time come on? I don't know. I've heard about it. I've never seen it. But I've heard people talk about it. Or this reality show, or that reality show. They've got no time for the children. Or I've been to work, we need to relax, we need to watch this now, and they forget about the children.
It's become the norm, unfortunately, in a lot of households. It really is. And I'm just calling it out.
I'm glad we agree.
What I see. And, I think we have parents in denial.
Yes.
Even in terms of their own social media use.
And we also have parents.
I've also spoken to parents
who are also
on their phone.
I want to know
8-9
this.
hours a day.
And we also have parents that are children.
Yeah. And the stresses and everything else that parents experience, sometimes they feel they also need their bit of escapism. But in the meantime, the children are left. There was a time when you wouldn't leave children in their bedrooms alone with a TV. After a certain point, 9 o'clock, let's say, 8 o'clock, you knew the content was going to be inappropriate for children, so you'd ensure they turn the TV off. But now children have got full control, full access to whatever's out there. Unsupervised access. And these things are created to hook children instantly. It's like putting your children on drugs. Teachers are complaining that children are sleeping in class. Children are moody. Their attention spans are reduced or are non-existent.
Quickly, one big question.
Rocket science.
I want one big answer because my time is running. I've got a couple of minutes left.
Yes.
And we always stick to the time. Quickly, one big question. What can we do?
What can we do?
One big answer. I know it's not easy to send
One
up.
big answer. Go back to some old-fashioned sit down together. If your child needs to be on their phone, let this happen in the living room, in your presence. They don't need to disappear into a bedroom for 4, 5, 6 hours every evening.
Okay.
Yeah. Check on what your child is on. If your child's hiding their phone, that's all the more reason for you to take that phone and have a look. Monitor their excuse me, their phone use, and be 100% involved. Children might make you feel as though you're invading their privacy, but right up until the age of 16, and you have the right to say, I need your passcode for your phone.
Okay.
For their own safety. Without that, they can't have their phone.
Okay.
From time to time, you let them know you will be checking the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And also check the homework.
Okay.
Check their schoolwork. Are their grades fading? Speak to schools. Often schools don't report anything to you until it's a little bit too late. So have that constant conversation with school and find out what apps there are and settings you can put in place so that children aren't having this unlimited access to unsuitable content.
Yeah. I think
Right. We're setting our children up to failure, and I will go as far as saying this is a new form of neglect. Back in the day, neglect was classed as not clothing, not providing the basics: food, clothes, shelter, love, and affection, and all of this stuff. Yeah. But leaving your children for hours at a time, 5, 6, 7 days a week, because it's convenient for you, that is also a serious form of neglect, as far as I'm concerned.
Thanks. My time is here, Marcia. You know, we have to do the time. I got to apologize, guys. No rant this week, but this was more important. Sometimes that's how it goes. Than my rant. The information that Marcia supplied was so important, so we had to get that across. Let me say once again, thank you for tuning. Marcia, thank you for taking part in the program. And you came over very well.
Thank you for giving me
you know what I mean?
The opportunity for having
we have
these
to go.
rants.
We have to
and
go.
Remember, can I just say, Family Link, look it up and download it.
Okay, thank you.
Onto your child's phone.
We have to go. My director. So we are out of time. So let me say thank you once again.
All right. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you. We'll catch up soon. Catch you soon. Thank you guys once again for tuning into the program. I want to say big shout out to Marcia and all you guys who tune into the program up there. We'll be back next week with another What's on Your Mind. My guest next week is a wonderful man, Andrea. He'll be on our program, and we're gonna have a good rant. You know what I mean? And so check that out. My time is here. God bless you. Don't forget to check out New Star Radio Live. Yes, or also www.newstarradio.com. Big shout out to you. New Star presenters, DJs, big shout out to you. Management, big shout out to you. Or also our sponsors. God bless you. Take care. Have a great afternoon.